Now forget Tom Bower and of course other employees of Meghan Markle, there's truly one person who, well, she's truly terrified of, and it's escalating daily. But who is it? And more importantly, why? Hi, morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. Thanks as ever for joining me today. Hope you're keeping well, and as ever you're already embraced for the latest breaking royal news coming out of London. It's amazing, isn't it? You know, every time Meghan Markle appears on something, it seems to be an onslaught of negative PR. But a lot of people say, oh, well, you're doing it, you know, you're bringing it on. Look, I'm simply reporting what comes out. And of course, as we've seen with endless interviews now with Harry and Meghan, it appears whatever they say seems to stimulate a lot of negativity. Now, who am I to say whether that's right or wrong? As I say, we try and be fair and balanced here on the channel. But this particular problem for Meghan is really serious, and I'll explain why. As we now know, Meghan herself tried to portray her as something of a bit more human, shall we say, on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And I'm not really sure if it worked for her, simply because, you know, squatting and doing all those silly pranks, it wasn't necessary. And also, I truly believe that if Ellen was a true friend, she wouldn't have asked her to do that. It would have been far more becoming simply to just get another guest on to do it. But seriously, she was desperate for ratings, and of course she knows the toxic level her program's now got attached to it. But here as ever really where it gets interesting, because they wanted to talk in more detail, the Ellen team that is, about some of the problems that Meghan's faced according to her. And one of them, of course, is those pesky tabloids, you know, the one that she's currently in litigation with. It's where it got really interesting for me, and here is something that you simply won't know about, but you're hearing it here first on the channel. Now, as we know, we've got people like Meghan's stepsister, Samantha, writing books and popping up on TV at every opportunity, and why not? She feels she's been wronged. It's her moment, and of course she should right the wrongs if that's what she feels. Then we can look forward in 2022 to that tell-all book from Tom Bower, who I've told you previously has got some really interesting people to come out and speak to him regarding Meghan's early life and, more importantly, more recent life. But there's one former person that she's been advised to keep away from. And really, when you think about it, this is the person that could really blow the lid on everything. Now, when we talk about the former royal aide known as Jason, you all know him, Jason North, and basically he's the one that gave the text to the court because apparently he felt uneasy after the first round of litigation. Now, when someone does that, it's interesting because let's not forget, he currently works for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and he would have had to seek permission from Prince William and of course Catherine to see if it was okay for him to go ahead, because they knew exactly how explosive it was. So now Meghan doesn't just have a former royal aide to contend with, who leaves the royal employment at the end of this year, so is a free agent and can do simply whatever he wants. Then of course you've also, in Meghan's eyes, got to take on a one-time close person in her family, Prince William. Well, we all know he suspected quite a bit from the off, allegedly. But what's interesting, I find, in this particular story is this. Meghan thought it may be a good idea to reach out, allegedly, to the former aide, pal. But of course she was very quickly advised that that wouldn't be a good idea, and obviously it wouldn't be, given the fact that it's a litigious case. But really, as I say, he is the loose cannon, because as he's already released those texts, there's going to be more coming out further down the line. And of course, once he leaves the royal employment, then really he can actually say and do what he wants. Even if he doesn't actually sign on the dotted line for the tell-all book, there's ways and means of getting everything out about a person, particularly if they feel they've been wronged. And that's apparently what the ex-aide feels has happened to him. Not sure why, that's his side of the story. But for Meghan, what she's trying to redo, if you like, is reposition herself as a friendly, you know, sort of mom, American mom, looking after two children. How hard is it with those 16 bathrooms, nannies, servants? You get the picture. So whichever way you want to portray yourself, and whichever way, of course, the American market decide that they feel that she's doing a good job at reinventing herself after the British royal family, that could all be undone by simply one person who could just decide to reveal all. And more importantly, let's not forget, I'm sure he sat down for a long and hard chat with His Royal Highness Prince William about exactly what he knew that went on during his time of employment with the former Duke and Duchess of Sussex, those ex-royals. And for that, I truly understand why Meghan must be quaking in those designer heels. Neil Shoreham in the heart of London.